All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Friday, September 4th, 2020, and as you know, today we've already uploaded the AFC South and, of course, the NFC South predictions for our NFL 2020 season predictions. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the AFC West and then the NFC West to kind of keep things going and get to the next, we have the AFC North and then the NFC North and then the AFC East and then the NFC East and then, the playoff predictions. And we've got to get this done by September 10th. We don't have a lot of time left, so let's jump right into this. Of course, you know how this goes. We give last year's predictions, and then we give what we think is going to happen this year. Of course, we have the Colts winning this division. Then we do the South, and then we have the Bucs and the Saints making the playoffs from this division. And now we're at the AFC West. So basically the way this works is we look at how it finished last year, and then we give our thoughts. We're not doing any wild card teams until we've done everything, unless the wild card team is clearly going to make the playoffs, like the Bucs winning 11 games. That's clearly a playoff team, so they'll get to go be a wild card team. In the NFCs, in the AFC South, for example, the Tennessee Titans finish at 9-7. We're not sure if they make the playoffs till we finish the rest. So let's see how things go, and let's look at last year for the AFC West. The Chargers finished in dead last. They had kind of a broken season. Their defense didn't live up to what it was supposed to be. They had some injuries at really key positions, like to Derwin James. Deja vu. The offense just wasn't it just didn't click. I don't know what happened. Was Phillip Rivers not playing good? Was the offensive line too much to overcome? I don't know what happened there. It just seemed like it was a disastrous year for the Los Angeles Chargers. Then we see the Oakland, now Las Vegas Raiders. They went 7-9. Not bad for a rebuilding year, I guess. I mean, I don't really have much to say. They're kind of in the middle of a rebuild. They're not really sure if Derek Carr is going to be the guy. We'll see how it all plays out going forward, another year into the rebuild. The Broncos went 7-9, had a strong finish with Mr. Drew Lock, leaving a lot of people optimistic for the Broncos going forward. A lot of Broncos fans think this could be a playoff team this year, and I don't necessarily disagree. I'm also pretty impressed by the way the kid ended the season. We'll see if his season is good enough to make the playoffs. Well, you never know. And then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl, so they had a decent year, I guess, whatever. Let's go to the AFC West predictions and start with, of course, fourth place. That's very short. They didn't do much this offseason, let me tell you. The Los Angeles Chargers, I think they're going to go about 6-10 and finish in about fourth place. I think that the Broncos and Raiders are wildly improved, and I just don't think the Chargers match up too well against the Chiefs. Derwin James is hurt again, so that's another big issue for this team. It just seems like they can't get a break. They lost Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Derek Watt, Russell Okung, Thomas Davis, Adrian Phillips, and Jalen Watkins. That's a whole lot of players, and I'm not really sure if Trey Turner is going to be an adequate replacement for Okung. I don't know. Chris Harris is going to be, they did add a Chris Harris, so Linval Joseph, Brian Beluga, Justin Herbert, Kenneth Murray, Joshua Kelly, those are the draft picks. I'm just really not that impressed. This could be a good team if it had a good veteran quarterback, and I'm not sure if Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert is going to be that case. This feels like a very similar situation to what the Broncos were last year, where the Chargers are going to run out a veteran quarterback till about week 10 or 11, and then maybe let Herbert take the reins and see what the future holds, see if he can win a few games, get the excitement up. So I feel like this is kind of a semi-transitional rebuilding year for the Chargers, and I would imagine that's going to make it so they're not as compared to the rest of the division, who's competing to get better and actively got better, in my opinion anyway. So that's why I have the Chargers finishing dead last. Due to just kind of a rebuild transition year between your old franchise and Phillip Rivers and the new potential guy and Herbert, if he develops and becomes that guy. So that's not really much to say there. And then we have the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly known as the Oakland Raiders, if you've never heard of them. I have them finishing with the same record. They lost DeAndre Washington, Mike Glennon, Denzel Good, Jonathan Hawkins, Vontez Burfict, Tahir Wed, Darryl Worley. They added in Marcus Mariota, Nelson Aguilar, Jason Witten, Nick O'Leary, Eric Kush, Carl Nassib, Malik Collins, Corey Littleton, Prince Nakamura, Jeff Heath, Henry Ruggs, and Damon Arnett were some of their draft picks. Henry Ruggs and Arnett. Arnett's kind of got a bad arm. So, to me, the Raiders, I just don't feel like to me, this could be one of the dark horses in the NFL. But when I was really starting to look at the scheduling, which I believe they play they play the NFC South this year. So those are some hard games minus the Panthers potentially. And then they play their own division. It's a hard year for the Raiders when you look at their schedule. I don't really believe in Derek Carr, nor do I believe in Marcus Mariota as your answer. Do I think there's talent on this team? Yeah, I think John Gruden's building a really good team. If they had a really good quarterback or a decent quarterback, and it's not that I don't like Derek Carr. I think he could be good. I just don't know if he's got anything left. I want to see it because I haven't seen it in a while from the Mr. Carr. So that would be nice. It's been a few years. It would be nice to see him still have it to some degree. And one of my biggest worries with this team was their offensive line, and I don't know if they really addressed that enough to placate possibly having one of the better running backs in Josh Jacobs, protecting Carr so you can get the ball to your speedster and Ruggs now. So I want to see how everything works. I believe they're having like weird injury problems as well. So it's, to me, with such a new team with a lot of new pieces, and Aguilar, you can't trust him. Winton's old. I do like the Nassib, Collins, and Makamara pickups, and Heath. Good, but again, they could be a dark horse team, but I'm not confident enough in picking them as my dark horse this season to rise above. So I have them at 7-9. Second place, Denver Broncos. I don't think this division's very hard to call, in my opinion. They didn't lose many. They did lose the great Joe Flacco. That sucks. That's going to be hard to recover from. Theo Riddick, Ronald Leary, Connor McGovern, Derek Wolfe, and of course Chris Harris, one of the premier corners in the NFL. Tough to recover, but they added in a king's ransom of players in Melvin Gordon, Nick Van Nett, DeMar Dotson, Graham Glasgow, Jarrell Casey, AJ Boye. That replaces Chris Harris by a lot. And they drafted Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Michael Ojemudia, and Lloyd Cushenberry. Again, I didn't get all of the moves every team makes. These are just the ones I see as decent. And then I threw in some silly ones. You can find the silly ones. Those are like the Easter eggs when I just throw in a random name. Like the kicker had some of them. It's pretty funny. So yeah, with the Broncos, I think they're a young team, and I think they could be a wild card team, just depending on how the rest of the league develops and how the rest of the playoffs stand. But they could be a sneak-in playoff team to me. I think they have all the making of a playoff team. I would like to see Mr. What's his name? The quarterback, Drew Lock, go against like some very good defenses. I know he had a pretty easy run to the end of his season there, and I'm not going to hold that against him. I don't do that. Wins are wins are wins. And so those are good. I'd like to see him go against some quality opponents. I'd like to see him, just have some decent hard games. I'd like to see what the team looks like now that it's his team. The whole, it's Drew Lock's team. The defense is going to be as good as it always usually is, I think. And I just think a harder schedule, much like what the Raiders are going through. It is a hard schedule for them. The division's getting better, and the top of the division didn't get any worse. So didn't get any better, didn't get any worse. I think they got a little better at the running back position, but how much? That's a debate, in my opinion. Really, that's debatable. Up and down, left, right, side to side. So, anyway, yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like the Broncos, I feel like they're going to be a playoff team, but it just depends on how the rest of this goes. They're going to have a pretty good season. I still think they're a young team, so there's going to be some growing pains, and I think that's going to be why they have 7 losses. Tough schedule, growing pains. It's going to be tough on Locke, so that's part of it. And, of course, whatever. So what am I supposed to? They lost LaShawn McCoy, Matt Moore, Blake Bell, Emmanuel Ogbah, Terrell Suggs, Xavier Williams, Reggie Ragland, Kendall Fuller, and Maurice Claiborne. They added Ricky Seals-Jones, Mike Remmers, Taco Charlton, Anthony Hamilton, Clyde Edwards. They drafted Edwards-Helaire, Willie Gay Jr., Lucas Niang, and L'Jarius Sneed. Clearly going to win the West. All right. Do I have to sit here and discuss why the Chiefs are going to win the West? They somehow won the Super Bowl last year. may have been some devious stuff they did. They probably cheated. I'm not, as a Patriots fan, I'm not at liberty to say whether or not another team is a bunch of dirty cheaters, a bunch of salary cap manipulating motherfuckers. We'll see how this all plays out with this team when they get in trouble, and how they're going to pay this team next year when the salary cap goes down. We'll see. It's kind of like the Cowboys. The Cowboys and the Chiefs are in a lot of trouble when, I don't know. Who cares? Who cares about this team? Only the Chiefs fans do. The playoff picture so far, Colts. Fuck. Well, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. So the Colts go into the playoffs as well. I have to quickly remove that. You can see how the West plays out kind of now, or the other West. But you figured, right? You knew how the West was going to play out. What did you think? The 49ers and the Saints weren't going to, or the Seahawks weren't going to be super high? They're still fun. It's just whatever. Who cares? But yeah, so the Colts and the Chiefs both, so the Chiefs are now in the playoffs. Again, I still think the Broncos could make the playoffs. It really just depends on, the 9 and 7. Are they going to be the 7 seed, 6 seed? I want to see how the rest of this plays. We only have the North, and then we have the East. I only think one East team is making it, and maybe 2 or 3 Norths. I just still have to figure this out and figure it out really quickly. So Broncos fans, don't get too angry. To me, you still might be a playoff team. But yeah, so that's my AFC West predictions. I have it as just so you could quickly remember it again. Let's go back to it. No, that's NFC South, AFC West. So again, it's the Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers. 11-5, 9-7, 7-9, and 6-10. I don't think that's too wildly off or anything, but okay, yeah, not too bad. I don't think so. Again, Broncos could be in, Titans could be in. Just depends on the North, which ironically those videos will come out tomorrow. So hopefully you have enjoyed the AFC South, NFC South, AFC West so far now. The NFC West is coming out shortly after this video is uploaded. It'll probably be uploaded before you finish watching this one. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Both those things do help grow the channel tremendously. And it's free, so you might as well. I don't know. I'm fun. I'm good at this. So hopefully you enjoyed the picks. Let me know. I will be back in a little while. Go Patriots, go Lions, and of course, yeah.